One, two, check 1 2 1 2 3 4 3 4. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Where's my sound effects? My sound effects. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Pete, you letting time go by? You letting time go by? What you doing? What you doing, Pete? What you doing, Pete? What are you doing? Clear Visions podcast, Clear Visions show. All right. So if you're watching the video, thank you. If you listen to the audio, thank you. If you're listening to both, thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Hopefully everybody is good and well. Oh, I haven't done one of these in a minute. I'm always saying that when I don't do the things, but forgive me. I've been doing a lot of other content, so please make sure that you follow and subscribe to Mr. Al Pete everywhere, MPN Network everywhere, the Groove Suite everywhere, all that stuff. So yeah. So today, want to talk. It's like a serious manner. So I don't even have a name for the episode yet, but when it goes out there, you'll see the name of it or whatever. But so currently today is August 3rd. We're gonna talk about like grief and dealing with grief while you're getting the blessings and you're working. All right. So and I just want to be, honest with y'all, very blunt, in it, what I'm saying? Like I try not to be personal, but yeah, this will get personal, but yeah, we're gonna be good. We're gonna fight through it. I wrote some notes down, but I probably would go off script for the most part, because this is a touchy subject. But we haven't had this conversation, I don't think, like in depth. I said I was gonna do it too, but I didn't do it. But we don't talk about on this show. We don't talk about much about dealing with grief, or dealing with like grieving, and still having to go to work. It's one thing to grieve. There are so many elements and facets around grieving, but I don't think a lot of creators talk about like the grieving part and the working part. All right. So that's what we're going to kind of speak on. Like, the email is still coming through. Business is still as usual, all the things. And you still have to work. So to get into it, because I don't want to hold y'all too long. So August 5th, 2025, my father passed away. May Griffin Sonny Young, may he rest in peace. So it's August 5th, 2025. So, calendar, senses and all that, what you were doing around the time when you lose something, unfortunately, that time comes around and that time gets really like down or bothersome or whatever the case may be. And I'm definitely in them spirits, because I remember it's like certain things happen and it reminds you of what you were doing like a year or two prior to. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But when it comes to the grieving aspect of it, you think about the things. All right. So long story short, not even long story short, hopefully it's hopefully you're not bored with it, but I want to give some context. So it was the weekend before. I had just did a retreat, Alpha retreat. Now at this moment, this is like July 30th, 31st or whatever, 2025. Now prior to that, my dad had been in and out of the hospital. Things really took a fall when it was beginning of May when he had an accident And it just went downhill from there. So these things have been happening. I was doing the visits and stuff like that. Um, but the last time I talked to him was maybe like a week prior to like the third week of July or whatever. Like I went to go see him and we had like this, conversation, my dad being dad or whatever. And that was the last time I had talked to him. Like had a conversation with him. And I'm very, very thankful that we had that conversation. He was asking me about the stuff I got going on, asking about my podcast and, being feisty, not wanting to be told what to do. But, got out. And then I think a couple of days after that, he went back to the hospital and then he was just in the hospital. So that was like a week thing or whatever. So then that Saturday beforehand, I was doing the retreat. I was at my fraternity's retreat, and after that, I was going to LOL Jax Fest to do some interviews with Elise Rose. Shout out to Elise, my sister. So we knocked out the interviews and everything was fine. And then I got a phone call and a text message from a good friend I was growing up with, and he called and was like, the hospital said they need all the family to come. They need all the family to come to the hospital. And so when you hear that, you like, all right, it's the time comes, right? And I continue doing the work. I didn't want to bother Elise, but my mind was so like, oh Lord, like the unfortunate is here. But I continue doing the work. I continue to doing the work. And then we got to a point where it was like, we done with the interviews and all that stuff. I felt like I broke down in like 2 minutes, like broke all my stuff down and was ready to go. But that's how I just break down, right? Send my blessings to Elise. And I didn't tell Elise anything. I just shot up out there and then I went to the hospital. All right. So that was that Saturday. Now, mind you, not even mind you because y'all don't know, but prior to that, I had just got a job being an assistant professor at Edward Waters. Dr. Durbin, Edward Waters University, I appreciate y'all. I was like, oh my God, like I got a professor job. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to the meetings. I'm not knowing what's going on, but I'm like, all right, let me get in here and let me make sure that everything's straight, right? So in the midst of that, I'm like, oh my God, I start school the next day. This is a Saturday when, we got the call about going to the hospital. And I start school on that Monday. Then I'm like, I got to go to NABJ convention like that Wednesday or whatever. So I was gonna be gone for Wednesday or whatever. So I'm like, oh Lord, like, should I go? How do I navigate all this stuff, right? So I'm going to the NABJ convention. This is my first time speaking at an NABJ convention. Shouts out to the Entrepreneurship Task Force, Shernay, Lisa, Brett. Shout out to the team on that. I'm the co-chair of that. So I'm going out there to speak and represent and support. This is in Cleveland. And then I got to start this job, and then I got my dad in the hospital. Like life support or hospice, what you want to call it. Days go by. Well, not days, but like Sunday goes by. He just there. And, they basically told us, it's anytime now. My sisters come in town from Atlanta. My mom's there, so I'm up there with them. My uncle is, around, just all the stuff. April 4th, that was a Monday, I start my job as an assistant professor. Scared as all I do is. I'm like, I don't know what I'm expecting, what I'm gonna do. Like, we figuring it out, but I'm there because I know how to pivot, right? That happens on August 4th, 2025. August 5th, that Tuesday, my dad passed away. August 6th, I'm driving down to get on the plane to go to Cleveland because my family says you need to go and do it. My family like, go, like, respectfully, they're like, what can be done now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and this is something that would have been, my dad's blessings. All right. When I come back home, we got to go through the funeral and all that other stuff. But listen, y'all, I've been ripping and running ever since then. Now, granted, I've been ripping and running my whole life doing my work, right? But I had to come back and I had to hit it. I had to hit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had the new position and I wanted to be impressive to my boss and to, my community, because I was thinking like, darn, like I am back in the community that I grew up in, being an attribute to, a service to like these students that want to be in higher education, as well as people that come from the product that I came from. Like, I grew up in a house literally 5 minutes away from Edward Waters. So I'm like, this is it. Like, this is, I'm thinking about the communications. I'm like, oh, this is like, wow. I ain't ever know, like, all the things, right? All the things. So I hit it running, whatever. I've had my moments here and there where, the grief part hits me, but grief it comes, it goes. It comes whenever it feel like it want to come. It comes whenever it wants to come. And usually for me, when it comes, I'm so consumed into my work to where it's almost like I don't have the time or the position to even think about the grief. All right. But I reflect on it now, and it's sad. But I wanted to give like kind of 3 points that I've thought about that I wanted to share with people that grieve. And let me say this. I'm talking about losing a parent. I'm in the club now where, the losing a parent club. And man, let me tell you, it's crazy. More so because I'm thinking about like my mom. I think about, and I've never stopped thinking about my mom, but I think about her all the time. And it's like, I think about how proud I've made her, and you want to make sure that you stay afloat with the things that you're doing, and you want to continue life. But then you think about, like, is she sad? Like, she lost somebody. You know what I'm saying? She lost her husband or whatever. So with all that being said, I just got lost. I'm sorry. With all that being said, like, the grief doesn't necessarily have to be like, somebody passing away. It could be a loss of a friendship. It could be a loss of an opportunity that you thought was going to be in your favor. It could be all kind of things. You know what I'm saying? So grieving comes in so many ways. It could be so many things. You know what I'm saying? So these 3 points that I'm going to give y'all, I feel fits any type of mode or whatever. I'm just telling y'all from my situation, I need to start implementing this with the loss of a parent. All right, when it comes to working. All right, so follow me. Hopefully I didn't make this daunting or a sad thing or whatever, but it's just a reflective thing. All right. Number one, give yourself permission to be human. I'm all about making sure that we are tapped into our feelings, our reflective feelings, and our emotions and stuff. Know how to control them, know how to acknowledge them, and all this stuff, right? And I feel like we have to hide behind stuff to be able to like function. And it's like, nah, like, we need to understand that we're okay. It's okay to be human. I feel like I have an empathy for people when it comes to certain things. Like, if we supposed to have a meeting and your babysitter canceled on you, that's more important than the meeting that we have. I'm never going to, and I pray to the highest skies that I don't come off like that when it comes to certain people's situations. All right. I'm very mindful of those things. And I think people be forgetting sometimes that they are human, and the human experience adds to what we do as our careers and our work. If you're grateful to be doing the work that you're doing and you love it, and it's from a human perspective, uh, humanitarian perspective, you know, philanthropy, a service, or um, policies, political, arts and entertainment. If you're doing that and that brings joy to your soul that you take in, and when I say take in, meaning like you researching it and you just really embodying that spirit of being a political person, or being a musician, or being a principal, or being an assistant professor. Like you're putting this stuff in and you're giving it out, and people are enjoying it or are reaping the benefits of the services, or humane side of things, right? We're still human at the end of the day. We still human at the end of the day, and I feel like a factor of that needs to be displayed when we're doing the work that we do. Now, you know, I'm not the one to be like, what, business is business. Let's suck that up. Like, yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for that, but that time and a place is very, 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 very short. If you're not good as a human, you are not going to be good in the work that you do. So it's okay to acknowledge, like, look, I am human. I don't have to record this podcast today. I'm just going to sit on the couch, eat some ice cream, watch a movie. That's what's going to get me through the day. Like, I don't have it in me. Okay. I think not even think, I know it's okay to be, to acknowledge that, that you're human. Okay. Um, yeah. Number 2, adjust your expectations, not your worth. So I put not your worth because I think about the capitalists, and I know my homie is listening to this and be like, oh, anti-capitalist Al is not with it. And you're right, I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? But I put it on there for context so people can kind of understand where I'm coming from with it, right? The expectation part. Like, I think people need to understand that we're always not going to perform at 100%. And especially for the people, the strong friends, the strong people. There are going to be some days and some weeks or whatever, you know what I'm saying, where you don't perform 100%. And that's totally fine. Like, it's totally fine. Like, we get so in the habit of like, oh, I messed this up. I forgot this. But like, internally, we've been thinking about the grief that we've went through. I mean, hell, it's been times when we think about happiness and we forget about certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but the expectation needs to be altered. You know what I'm saying? Specifically when I'm talking about grieving, that the expectation needs to be altered. And it's okay for it to be altered. All right. You're not gonna diminish yourself or come off in a bad way, or you lose your value because you said 5 days out of the week I was performing at 95%, and then this one day I came and did 70. Like, that's not going to happen. Trust me, it's not going to happen, because there are people out here that truly care about, like, humans and understand that they're going through these type of things. So make sure that you adjust your expectations and not your worth. And it's okay for you to adjust those. All right. The last point that let me add this. And it's rolling into my number 3 point. When I say, adjust your expectations, like, if you feel like you overwhelmed when it comes to certain stuff, this is the time for you to ask, whether it's asking for grace and mercy or asking for somebody to help you with that project that you're working on, and be like, look, I got a lot. I lost this, or I'm dealing with this. I just want to process real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like we need to be straight up with these people for them to understand that, right? And that rolls me into number 3. Um, I wrote down build a support system beyond your job. Now, I remember my chair mentioned this to me, I think well over a month or two. I think that's when she found out that my father had passed. I don't think I mentioned my father passing until after the funeral. So that was might have been like 2 or 3 weeks prior to when I publicly mentioned that my dad passed away. Everything was done, we was all kind of back to normal. And my chair was like, she was worried that I didn't let her know. And I feel like I should have let her know. Definitely should have let her know. And I probably should have let some coworkers know. But remember, that Monday I started work. And prior to that, I was just getting into the system. So I didn't know anybody to that degree to have those type of feelings. You know what I'm saying? Or feel like I can talk to somebody about it. But I don't recommend it at all. Like, you need the support system. You need a support system, whether it's a text message, whether it's, you need a support system. You need a support system, and develop that support system, even when you're not going through a grieving situation. But you need to have a support system. Shout out to everybody that has been checking over me throughout the time. It's a couple of people that like often check on me, like, or they even ask like, "How's my mom doing?" And those people are like my support system. It's very important to have a support system around you, man. Like, find that person that will side with you and be there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people feel like they don't want to bother nobody, but I feel like people are welcoming and making space for people to welcome them in. You know what I'm saying? So support system is very, very important. Like friends, family, pastors, somebody in the faith space, co-workers, people that's in your community and your culture. I've come to find out, man, like there was a lot of friends that they've lost parents, you know what I'm saying? And so I've talked to them about it, see how they grieve and how they handle it or whatever. Now I'm in the club. And then these people are willing to give me the wisdom or give me some type of leeway to think about how to deal with this and, all those things or whatever. So you just never know. A lot of people be going through some stuff and, whatever the case may be. Now, another thing too, I will say creative outlets. This is my creative outlet. Work is one thing, but a creative outlet is another. Okay. I still have to report to work, still have to do the work, but I enjoy doing my work. I enjoy the work that I do because it ties into all the stuff that I've been doing with MPN, my brand, Mr. LP, the Groove Suite, Fly Socks and Tees, all this stuff. So me going to the school, it adds to it. And I love my job. So I still have, but it's still a job and I have to do it. But my creative outlet, like listening to music, I love listening to like reflective music. Shouts out to Mixing Boys. Jesus Christ. I do not want to mess up their name. Let me say it correctly. Life's Mixing Board podcast. Man, yeah. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. To my people, man. Jessica. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a promo. Jessica, John, and Michael, man. I shout out to them. I was on their podcast about a Sunday or two ago. And we was really reflecting. I felt like I was in the therapy chair. And, oh, man, it was good. I want y'all to see that episode. It should come out soon. When it comes out, I'll throw the links. But with all that being said, the creative aspect of it, like finding music, like they asked me about what song makes me reflect and stuff like that. And I told, you'll hear the song. that I mentioned on the show or whatever. Well, I can say it now. It was Fonte, Who Loves You More. And so I love reflective music, and that's a creative outlet for me to be able to reflect. And one of the reflections that I had when my dad passed, I was like, look, man, you got to live your life, Pete. Like, the working is cool, but you got to live your life. And it's funny because on the song, Who Loves You More, Fonte ends the song basically saying, make a living or have a life. Guess that I got to choose. And it's like, you work so hard, but it's like you won't even be, you can wear yourself down to where you won't even see the benefits of what you work for. So, yeah, man, but like them creative outlets definitely works too. So if you're a sketcher, if you draw, or if you like to go sip by the water, like those creative outlets, that like adopt those things and make it work. And so this right here is like a part of my creative outlet. And I hope that, somebody listens to this, and if you don't know how to deal with grief or whatever, I pray that I'm a testimony to this. If you deal with grief and you're a worker like me, like me, journaling this stuff, what I'm saying, beforehand with my notes, but journaling it, to y'all, it's helping. Like I feel a little bit better. It's helping. It's helping me go through the moments of it. So those are my 3 thoughts. But I wanted to throw that. Hopefully this is a benefit to somebody. So I want to leave this with y'all while I close this out. Again, thank y'all so much for listening. Hopefully you stuck around to the end part. And hopefully this is a influence to somebody. But I want you to take a minute every day. I want you to take a minute, and I want you to reflect, and I want you to have gratitude. I want you to be thankful. I want you to think about if you're grieving someone, or a job, or an opportunity, or a friendship, or what have you, I want you to take a minute every day, if possible, and just reflect and be one with yourself. Be one with yourself, be real with yourself, and go forth and be great. But definitely take those couple of seconds or that minute and be reflective, man. And we'll see it through. So may my father rest in peace, Griffin Young. We definitely miss you. We definitely miss you, man. Yeah. Clear Visions Podcast, Clear Visions Show. Thank you so much for listening, man. I'll see y'all on the flip side, man. Be good to yourselves and be good to others. All right? To the top.